Well, hi again, everybody. The road to state continues for the John Tyler Lions as they now head to the state quarterfinals coming up on Friday in Ennis against Frisco Centennial's Titans. The Lions have already deposited one Frisco team, 45-28, this past Friday night at the brand new plush Allen Eagles Stadium in a game that was tough. It was a very tough test, and Coach Ricklan Holmes is here. You were not surprised by that either, were you? You got all Frisco had to offer on Friday night, didn't you?
Everything that they had to offer, and we knew exactly coming into that match Friday night that it was going to be a difficult game from the start. You know, trying to prepare for an offense like that you've never seen before all year, and getting ready to try to stop them and to contain them. Is hard to get ready for.
Well, and to talk about what kind of offense it was kind of old school, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's an old school wing T misdirection offense, and they done a great job running that offense. They ran it to perfection. They didn't have a lot of great athletes, but they were well-disciplined linemen, did exactly what they needed to do, and the offensive running backs found the holes they need to find.
And people don't realize this, but, you know, and what you do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the scout teams, to try to replicate somebody else's offense. Very, very important. Very difficult to simulate that, though, right?
And it is. And I tell our scout team guys all the time that their job is just as important as the guys that's playing on Friday. You know, if they don't give us a good look, then how are we going to be prepared for the team that we're playing against?
And what, so this offense, I was kidding you about it before we went on today. You played at John Tyler in the 90s, and Alan Wilson ran a wing run-first offense,
yes,
but not the same thing that they were doing.
Yeah,
right?
Not the same thing that they did. Like I said, it was a lot of misdirection around there, and they run a lot of sweeps with it. So getting ready for that type of offense was very difficult, and the adjustments that we came up with during halftime to contain that and to put us ahead of the game, because with an offense like that, they don't want to get behind. They want to stay ahead because of the time that they take off the clock, and eventually they'll run out of time.
What kind of adjustments did you make?
Just making sure that we widen out our ends, and we adjusted our secondary as needed with the linebackers to make sure that we was where we were supposed to be, to contain them and make them get out of their comfort zone and throw the ball, and that's where our interceptions came from.
Rick, what was the it sounds to me like there was no panic. You guys fell behind by 11 at one point in the first half. Guys responded, didn't seem to get all that upset about it. They just went about their business, right? Yeah,
I tell the guys all the time, it's about just playing football. You know, you have 4 quarters of play, and it's divided up into 2 halves. You got to try to take care of your business the first half so that you can roll into the second half and basically just go into a control mode. But still at the same time, it's still 4 quarters, and you got to play all 4 quarters. And our guys are understanding that, and they understanding what to do to take care of business all 4 quarters and 2 halves.
And what's it like? I mean, how much does it do for the team to under the bright lights of the playoffs, to come back in the ball game, a double-digit comeback against a team that was throwing everything they had out there for you? What does that do for the confidence of this team?
Confidence, it builds it. You add to that, and the kids understand that the things that they are doing right now is very successful, and they understand that if they continue to do that and hopefully do it a little bit better, we can continue going down the road that we're going down right now.
All right, you're halfway home. It seems like we've been in the playoffs now and we have been for 3 weeks, but there's 3 more weeks of this left.
It is. And if you look at it, you really got 2 more weeks before you get ready for the big dance.
The big one.
Our kids understand, the closer we get, the harder the competitions get. And it showed last Friday, all the, as they would call the Rudipoot teams, they've been cut out.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing but good teams left. And just so happened we're one of the good teams that's left.
What's it like to be? The old cliche is if you're playing in December, you're pretty good. Well, you played on November 30th this past Friday night, so this is December now. What does it mean to be playing this time of the year?
It means that you've done everything that you need to do prior to this to get to this point. It means that, the first 3 rounds you took care of, and now you're going into the 4th round, and you got to prepare for the 4th round just like you did the first game of the season. You got to go in there and understand that, yes, it's not like the preseason where you have another game left, and it's just like cutthroat business here. You have to make sure that you go and make sure you understand that, if you take a play off, it could cost you the rest of your season. It could start your off season early, and that's what we don't want to start our off season early. And like I told them, after the game, now you're getting ready for another week, fellas.
I was out at the practice last Monday night talking to a couple of the guys. It just struck me that when you started all this back in August, days were, daylight was till 9 o'clock, and, it was a whole different feel. Now, dark is 5:30, and you guys practice under the lights, and just about everybody else has put their equipment up now and gone on to basketball and the off season and all that stuff. Just the feeling of playing this time of the year is just totally different now than it was, say, in September, isn't it?
Oh, it's most definitely. The time changes, the light goes down now, and just knowing that you're still playing, just knowing that you're still going towards that third goal that we set for ourselves, it's a great accomplishment for our young men, and they're still pushing forward.
And people are showing up. I noticed you get pretty good audiences at practice right now.
Yes.
People just kind of get out. They just kind of want to be a part of it, don't they?
Yeah, everybody wants to be a part of the Cujo Nation right now, the
sure.
new era that we've started, and just getting ready to make this run that we're making right now to get ready to go to December 22nd.
Aren't you going to wear the white unis this Friday night again, right?
Yes, sir, and we are the home team.
You're the home team, so the home press box side is where the fans need to sit, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, briefly, before we look at the highlights, Frisco Centennial, what do you know about them?
Offense kind of like ours. They have a very athletic quarterback. He does a lot of great things back there, kind of like our quarterback. They don't have the same type skill guys that we have at the wide receiver position, but they do have a very talented running back. On the defensive side of the ball, have a real good secondary guy that plays in the secondary, plays corner. He's number one. And then you have also a big defensive end line, and he's real good. And he causes a lot of disruption in the pass game, and he plugs a lot of holes in the run game. So getting ready for a team like this, it's not something that we hadn't faced before out of the West Mesquites and the Lancasters and the Lufkin teams, and even in our district, the White House team. They kind of remind me of White House. They're just better at running the ball than they were.
Okay, all right. So this promises to be, and they beat Frisco during the regular season. So they've already played. I know you have at least one common opponent, and they beat Frisco early.
Yes, they did. They beat them early. They was one of the 3 losses that they gave Frisco during the year. And a very talented team, well coached by Coach Howard. He's an OSU alumni, so we've already had some conversations about that.
Older or younger than you?
He's older than me.
Oh, okay.
He's older than me. He also coached in Oklahoma during the time that I was in Oklahoma at Putnam City High School. So we conversated about that and just, get everything finalized for this game on Friday.
All right. By the way, Putnam City's a big-time program in Oklahoma. What are the playoffs like in Oklahoma versus the feeling in Texas right now?
Well, first of all, the weeks are shorter. You only have 4 weeks to play there.
Okay, all right.
Versus here you got 6 weeks because that 4th week is actually the state championship game in Oklahoma. Right. So, the atmosphere is just the same. Everybody gets pumped up for it. It's just shorter.
Is there more depth in Texas? I mean, there's always that constant comparison, high school football in Texas versus other states. What makes Texas different, if at all, from some of these other states?
The overall amount of talent that you have in Texas. Yeah. Oklahoma has some great players. They have some great skilled guys. But the difference between Oklahoma and Texas, to me, is the linemen and the skill position. In Oklahoma, you have an abundance of linemen. At Putnam City, our average line was probably about 6'4", about 295 pounds.
Boys been eating well.
That was probably our smallest guy on the team.
Okay, all right.
When you get to Texas, the linemen aren't that big, but the skill guys are, you have an abundance of them. Like at Tulsa Union, Jinx, those type of programs right there remind me of the Texas programs here. But them the only 2 programs that's in that's in Oklahoma that remind me of those type of teams. So just the abundance of skilled guys versus linemen is the biggest difference between Texas and Oklahoma to me.
All right, let's go to the video, and then we'll talk individually about some of these players who had great games on Friday night. Again, 45-28, the Lions against Frisco at the new Allen Stadium, a gorgeous $60 million facility. Your first trip up there, I know you're impressed with that stadium, huh?
Oh, very impressed with it. That stadium right there shows you the real importance and how important Texas high school football is in the state of Texas.
All right, here you are kicking off, right?
Yeah, they done a little pooch kick, and we ended up getting it to Big Bowser. And he made a great run to get us in some great field position right here.
Allowed you to score quickly.
Yes,
he
did.
Look at it again here. Now, they got it teed up, and they're trying to squib kick to keep it away from your deep guys, right?
Yes. And you don't want to kick it back there deep to number 4 and number 8.
Yeah, but Bowser ain't a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy to get the ball either. And Coach Moore does a great job positioning those guys during the week to, fill any void that, they may try to attack.
Yeah, I think Ty surprised him a little bit there.
Yeah.
What's that big guy doing that stuff?
He's
right?
an athlete.
He is an athlete.
He is an athlete.
All right, here you are on offense.
Just a little zone read play here to Ward, and he does what he does with his feet. Makes some great things happen.
Now that tied the game. They had scored first on a long drive. And then you come back, and this was the first or second play of the drive? First play.
First play from the line of scrimmage. After that great return by Bowser, that's where we started at, and then we finished up in the end zone.
All right, here's a field goal from Benitez.
Yeah, this is our second possession. We had to end up on a field goal right here, and it just showed us, that we get in a good field position with the kickers that we do have. We should get 3 points out of a drive.
You've got two good kickers too. They've done it. Both Diaz and Benitez have done a good job.
They have, outstanding on the kickoff with Noe and punting, and then on the field goal side. And he also is a punter. If we need be, is Benitez. It's right here, this is what we wanted them to do. We wanted them to try to throw the ball because, we feel like, our secondary can match up with anybody. And getting them out of their comfort zone, doing something that they don't want to do.
That was Darian too, right, on that pick?
No, that was Terry Osborne.
Terry Osborne on that, okay. Here's a big run.
And this is Darren Flowers. He had a big night on offense and defense Friday night.
Yes, he did.
Just a little swing pass to him, put the ball in the athlete's hand quick and let him do something. That's what our offense is about.
Yeah, you got to have the athletes. That play doesn't work for everybody.
No, it doesn't work for everybody.
I mean, some teams get 6 yards. You just got 40. So I mean, it's the whole different ball game. All right, here we go.
Greg using his feet, buying time, checking it down into Quante Woods, and just let him use his speed. Get us down there close to the end zone, and that's what it's about, moving the chain, driving the ball down the field, and putting yourself in a position to score.
And you talk about kids taking it to a next level. He has really done that in these playoffs.
He's turned it up. He's turned it up several notches. And he's going to continue to do that as we make this campaign run to December 22nd. Little swing pass right here to Darian, basically the same play to the other side.
And that was the last score of the half. They led you 21-17 at the half, right?
Yes, sir.
Are we in the second half here?
Yeah, this is the second. I believe this is the second half. A good pass right there to Darren Flowers again.
He had a big night, 7 catches, 90 yards, right at it.
Yes.
A couple of touchdowns, right?
Yes, he did.
A couple of picks.
Yeah, he did. Had a pick.
He had 1 pick or 2. He fumble recovery and a
couple
pick.
Fumble recovery, yes.
Okay.
Find Fred Ross and let him go to the end zone. Make a couple people miss, and there we go.
Yeah, nice move. Saw Des Bryant do that in the Cowboy game Sunday
Yeah, he
night.
did.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he did.
Same move, little slide to the left.
Slide and make a couple people miss. Yep. Use your speed.
I've watched Fred do that several times this year. You think you've got him.
And you don't.
You don't.
With the size and the speed that he has, it makes it hard for one person to bring him down.
That young man, too, he's pretty good at that.
He's just slippery.
Yeah.
He has great speed, for what he does, and he has a great arm, and he makes some great decisions. In this game, I mean, yeah, he threw his first interception. And to go, 13 games and only have 1 interception, that's a great accomplishment within itself.
I'd forgotten that stat. We were talking about that briefly last week. That's an amazing number. Here's the fumble.
Yes, it's the fumble.
I think Andrew Clark stripped it, did he not? Yes.
He came from the backside, punched it out, and Darren Flowers recovered it.
So now you're looking to put the nail in the coffin here now.
Yeah, going against a team like this, you get those 1 and 2 big stops to turn over the game, and with the offense that we have to go score, this is what you want to do. These are opportunities that you take.
Quante Woods with the 8-yard touchdown run. That puts you up 10 at that point.
Yes.
With a little less than 2 minutes to go. You're feeling pretty good at that point, right?
Feeling pretty good right now. Now, to me, we had the game under control because, yeah, they may drive down the field and they may score again, but they're going to take so much time off of the clock that they're going to end up running out of time to put themselves back in a position to win a football game.
Bowser with the sack there. Is that right?
Yes.
He had 3 more in this game, too, didn't he?
Yes, and he's just adding to that tally, that double-digit tally he's, started and finishing out on.
And this will put the game away.
Yeah, this is another interception. Like I said, you get them out their comfort zone, you have them doing things that they don't want to do. You come up with turnover, you come up with big plays, and, this right here basically, put the nail in the coffin and let them know that, game's pretty much over.
So Darian Flowers with an interception and a fumble recovery, and here's the icing on the cake.
Go ahead, touchdown.
Big hole, too.
And that's the Quante Woods once again. He's turned into that running back that you need, to make an offense click. With the passing attack that we do have, you combine it with a running style that, is grinding it out and doing what you need it done. That's what makes us that's what's making us successful at this point right now.
All right, 45-28. You were able to get this win, but again, you were tested. They put up a heck of a fight in this ball game.
They did.
But you made the adjustments. Just talk about the job your coaching staff did. I read a quote in the paper, Coach Anderson, talking a little bit about what had to be done with the defense at the half. Some of the same stuff you said that you knew going in they were going to run the ball and try to hit you in the mouth right off the get-go, right?
Most definitely, and that comes from the preparation that Coach Anderson puts together for these kids. He kind of looks ahead of the curve. So the adjustments that he made during the halftime, those type of adjustments that came up, them was already prepared during the week. And you get ready that way because you don't want to use it, but if you do have to use it, you always have that in your back pocket, and that's where it comes from, just preparation.
Who are the other, just for folks who are not aware, just the other defensive coaches?
You got in the secondary, you got Coach Jamie Moore. Defensive end is Coach Torrey Elder. He's a new guy. And then the defensive line coach is Coach Chuck Isaac. He's also a new guy. Got Torrey Elder from Fort Worth. He was at a Christian school academy. And got Coach Isaac from Marshall. He was at Marshall last year, so we took him a little bit down 20 to come live in Tyler. And then, on the offensive side of the ball, Coach Bush is doing a great job at the offensive coordinator position, and he's taking over. And, he's a young guy that's making a name for himself, along with offensive line coach Will Smith. And we got him from West Texas.
Right.
Running back coach Quentin Jones. We got him from the State Highway Patrolman Department. He was in coaching early. He had got out and became a highway patrolman. And then a wide receiver coach gets to coach these wonderful athletes that he has. I think he pretty much has the easiest job on the staff, and that's Coach Heath Grant. Yeah. And we got him from Denison, Texas.
Antoine Bush, I kid Antoine quite a bit. I did his games when he played at John Tyler. He went through a very difficult period.
Bless his heart, he was running for his life.
He was.
He was.
But he was such a really good player and such a great kid. Went on to play at the University of North Texas. This has to really mean something to him right now to be a part of something like this, because when he played, and he's from a long line of John Tyler Lions, like a third generation group or something like that. But this has to mean a lot to him to be a part of something.
It does. Us all being alumni, me, him, Coach Moore, Coach Norman, all of us guys coming back to our alma mater and putting together the system that we've put together to be successful, it means a lot to all of us.
Any of the old JT, any of the guys from any of the past state championship teams started to reach out to you and
that's been since day one. That's been since May, when I first got the job, and everybody understood that I was going to take over. Everybody's been reaching out their hand to the John Tyler Lions as support, and it's a wonderful feeling.
What's the latest on this reality show for the '94 Plano East John Tyler game? Anything new on that?
No new deal on it right now. It's been presented to all the big broadcast stations to see who's actually going to pick it up. And once they figure out who's going to pick it up, then they're going to get everything rolling and get it started.
And they're actually going to play a flag football game, right?
Yeah, it's going to be some kind of competition deal that they're going to be doing. Not quite sure of the logistics of it, but I think it's going to be pretty entertaining.
All right, when's Allen going to come to a playoff game? Has he been to any yet?
Matter of fact, he was at the Allen game.
Was he?
He was in the stand at the Allen game.
He lives there. All right.
Yes, because he lives in Garland.
Okay.
So it's not that far for him to travel to, and he enjoyed the game, and he has his own little comments that he's gonna have to say to me, but that's to be expected of Coach Wilson.
Have you ever met Corky Nelson, who coached the '73 team? Have you ever had a chance to meet him?
No,
he's retired in Central Texas.
That's something that I would like to do. Those championship teams, I would like to get all those coaches, if they're still around, together, and just sit around and just talk about, the process that they all went through to get to that point. And, in December, I'll be able to add to that conversation.
That'd be great. That'd be great. And just the atmosphere around this right now, just watching the highlights and listening to some of the games on the radio this past weekend, the excitement of being a part of this and what he does to a town, a community, whether it's John Tyler, Gilmer, Henderson, Kilgore, any of those towns. What's that like?
Man, it's wonderful. Even Robbie Lee has extended their support to us, on their website and throughout the community. Couple of Robbie Lee fans was at the game, in support to us. But that just lets you know that Tyler is not as separated as people think that it is. Mm-hmm. Robbie Lee is a 5A program. We're a 4A program. I would love to see later on down the line that Tyler wins 2 championships in the same year.
Yeah.
I think that Coach Piskey's doing a great job at Lee, and I think that he's going to get to that point to where they're going to compete for one of those deals. And just the community coming together, understanding that, we're John Tyler, we're supposed to be on the north side of town, but at this point in time right now, we're not just representing John Tyler at this time. We're representing Tyler, Texas.
You're Tyler
as a
team
whole
right now. Absolutely.
And, and that includes Lindale, that includes Chapel Hill, that includes White House. That includes all the surrounding communities that's right here in this close-knit community.
Yeah, these kids have
Tyler,
relatives
Texas.
that live around in all these communities too.
And then with the support of the other East Texas team that's still playing, like Gilmer and Henderson and all those great teams that are still playing right now, that just lets you know the talent and the support that we have in this area is great.
Who played well Friday night? Just give me a rundown of some of the kids that really stood. I know they all played well, but a couple of kids that really
defensive side of the ball, you got to give it up for Miller and Mobley. They had a tough time their first half, but they got it together the second half and helped us win. Also, Cavante Jefferson, his job was to contain that edge. He didn't do a good job the first half, but with the second half adjustment, he was able to get that done. Richard Gibson, also, he's quietly making a name for himself and doing what he needs to do. Secondary stepped up and made some big plays. And then on the offensive side of the ball, you got to give it up to Greg, Fred, DeQuante. The offensive line, with some of the little mistakes that they made Friday, they wasn't big enough to cause us a drive. And I think they're starting to understand that they can't be the reason that kills the drives for us. Along with Liggins, he makes some big plays, catching the ball. But I think, overall, you got to give it up for, the big plays that came from Darren Flowers and Greg Ward, along with DeQuante Woods' hard yards.
Now, are the scouts coming around now? It's time for the college scouts to start showing
up. Oh, yeah, we had a nice little turnout last week. I don't know if it was Tuesday or Wednesday. We had several universities that's done started sneaking on the campus, and they want to try to come check out and see what we got going on here. I've also received several phone calls on Saturday of some guys that trying to figure out what time our practices start so they can come peek in and look at our kids.
Any of the head coaches been here? I mean, people will be surprised who actually shows up unannounced, sneaks in and out of town. Anybody we'd know?
Yeah, we had Houston head coach here.
Okay.
He had to come check up on Greg.
Okay.
And I expect, Oklahoma State coach to be here shortly. Come check up on Fred.
Gundy, absolutely.
SMU coach will be around here shortly.
Yeah.
Because they would like to have a shot at Greg also. So along with them, Houston Baptist head coach will be here later on this week to come check out Darren Flowers and Greg and Justice Liggins and DeQuante and them. So.
The Mac Browns and Nick Sabans of the world have been in the John Tyler Fieldhouse too.
Yeah, they have. They have been here over the years. I hadn't seen them this year, so look out for them.
And it's funny because they're the so-called big-time coaches, but when they come to your Fieldhouse, they're the customer. I mean, they're trying to sell you,
Yeah.
so they're all about treating you great, aren't they?
Oh, that's most definitely because they know, these young men, they got a big decision to make, and it comes with the support.
It ain't your job to be nice to them; it's their job to be nice to you.
Because at some point in time, I am a small part of that determining factor
Absolutely,
that those kids are going to do, along with their parents and the other people that they listen to. So they have to come in and they have to. They have to make sure that they treat me just as well as they treat the athletes.
How about this? I mean, a lot of this work has already been done during the regular season, but how many decisions are made just based on what goes on in the postseason? They look at the bright lights and kids stepping up. What can a kid do for himself in this postseason that maybe he couldn't do during the regular season in the eyes of a college scout?
Address concerns that maybe they may have had. Kind of like Justice Liggins coming into the season.
Yeah.
Everybody knew he was a big, fast receiver, but they wasn't quite sure of his hands. How well did he use his hands?
Looks like he does pretty good to me.
He's addressing those type of concerns. Same thing with Greg. How durable is he? With him being underweight, can he withstand a whole season? Well, we had 13 games right now, and he's still healthy as he started at the beginning of the season. Same thing with Fred, his consistency. How consistent is he? And then with DeQuante, what other positions can he play? Putting him at running back. He had been a wide receiver and linebacker for the past
Looks to me
year.
like he can do anything he wants to do.
Anything he can do. So in the postseason, you get to see him do several things that you probably get to see them do during the regular season, like Greg and Fred, both playing defense. You didn't see that earlier during the season.
And Bowser, no verbal commitments yet, but everybody knows about him.
Everybody knows about Bowser right now. And Bowser is taking this recruiting process like you would want a kid to take it. He's not really worried about what they're saying. He's not really worried about what they're doing, because right now the main focus that he has right now is making it to December 22nd.
Okay, let's talk the last 2 minutes about the game Friday night. They're a passing team. You say they look a lot like you. The things that they're going to do are a lot like what what we do. They spread the ball out. They come in, pretty much same formation that we come out with. They kind of remind me of the way that they have things set up. They remind me of a White House, just with a little bit of running game. Like I said, they have a strong running back that's back there, and he's able to do some good things along with their quarterback that they have. And come from a district, in a 4A district, where apparently a pretty good district, and they've gotten this far. So they blew out Red Oak the other night. Very impressive game.
And Red Oak was the type of team that's like Frisco. They don't want to get behind. They like to try to run the clock out on you. And, Centennial came up with some big stops earlier during that game to get it under control, and that's the way it ended up going.
How about you right now? I mean, just you getting your second win. I mean, as a head coach, this is a long grind. This is a 16-game, possibly, knock on wood, a 16-game NFL schedule these kids are going to play.
Yeah, I'm doing great right now. With the support of my family and my friends, they've been by my side since the beginning of time, and they're going to continue to be there. And I'm just taking it one day at a time, just making sure I focus on doing what's right for the kids, and not worry about the outside deal, the media, the fans, and all the other things that go into that aspect. Because at the end of the day, I tell my kids all the time, these people that's here in this field house right now are the main people that I'm concerned about right now. Because at the end of the day, my name is on this and y'all name is in front of it.
Right.
So what y'all do and what I do together is what creates the things that we are doing right now to be successful.
Well, it's fun stuff. And again, the road to state continues on Friday night. Again, the Lions play at the Ennis Stadium. It's a great facility in Ennis and just off Highway Interstate 45 and Highway 287. The Lions are the home team. They'll be in the blue jerseys, the white jerseys. The white jerseys. And you'll be on the press box side. The Lions against the Frisco Centennial Titans at 7:30 Friday night in the quarterfinals. State quarterfinals. For Coach Holmes and the Lions, I'm Bill Coates. The road to state continues next week. Thanks for joining us.